Hey,
Hey.
I heard you got here's some more PC footage for me.
You want to check it out?
That doesn't sound good. If we can still make it in time,
If we don't, we're gonna spend the rest of our lives running from shit like this.
Throughout like the whole Xbox version, like you see the Brumac, and he's like on the side there, but you don't actually get to fight him. I mean, why all of a sudden now on the PC
Right.
version you get to like?
And Mark Rain, vice president of Epic, hilariously, when I was talking to him, pointed out, he's like, he's like some people, he's like, I'm not going to use disappointed. That's way too strong of a word, but some people wanted to see more of Brumac. And it's like, all right, whatever. It's like if you like paid to see Jurassic Park and then there's no Tyrannosaurus in it, and it was in the trailer and crap, and then you're actually watching the thing and it's nothing but like brontosaurs and shit.
I know I wanted to fight him. I mean, like the whole
I
time.
mentioned in my story on message boards, I found some posts where people were asking for like a walkthrough. What do I need to do? Because at the end when you're leaving Phoenix's dad's house,
Right.
Right before you run into him, and you have a time limit to get to your Jeep. They're like, I don't think I'm getting there in time. Of course they were, because they were triggering the cutscene, But what do I got to do to fight this guy? I just get the lousy version where I have to like drive away, and he like just growls at me. So like they were like totally earnest, dude. Basically, the new section is an area called Timgad, and throughout the 5 acts of this, throughout the 5 chapters of this new act, it goes in between 4 and 5. Brumac's chasing you the entire time, and then it ultimately ends where you finally get to fight him and kill him.
So is that all pretty much the same?
The rest of the game is the same with a few tweaks. Like one thing that they're doing is they've been able to take feedback in cases like that message board post where people kind of like weren't getting it. Say, what do we absolutely want to convey? What information do we want to communicate that didn't get through? Sometimes when you're taught, you'll hear a dispatch or something when you're in the middle of a firefight, and they're like, people missed that, and they came away from it saying, why the hell are we on? Is there a bomb on this train at the end?
Right.
It was just kind of like, you just went from one place and all of a sudden you're on a train. So now they're going to build up to that new act in a way that like makes sense of it, and then that act is going to explain how the hell you end up on the train, why there's a bomb on the train.
The questions that you had playing the Xbox one will be answered in the PC one.
It's interesting though, because like the assumption is kind of like we want people that already played the 360 version to play the PC one too, and that was like a big theme that kept emerging when we were talking. Is like this, they totally assumed that. Because of course it'll just seem to fit, you might not even necessarily be aware if you're PC only, you haven't touched the 360, that all of a sudden there's this section that was missing, from the other.
Well, why not just, put on downloadable content like on Live?
Because they want to sell the PC version, and it does sound cool. I mean, like I'm sure you'll want to play it. You get a new mode there and some new maps. 3 new maps, but likely 4. They just haven't committed. They'd rather say this is what we're promising you, and we'll deliver that. You might get more.
What is the new mode?
It's called King of the Hill. Took some big risks with that one. Yeah, well, so Annex, right?
Right.
It's basically that, but with a single capture point instead of multiple ones, and with a few other tweaks. It's execution mode only.
Okay.
So the rules are you have to basically either get a headshot or an explosive kill on an opponent, or actually down him and go up and physically finish him off. But that's the other thing too, is that you have to stay. One person has to remain inside the perimeter at all times. Yeah, it's really like what you're used to seeing in Halo and God knows every other multiplayer PC game before that. But it seems like it works. I mean, they insist it works really well with things, and it surprisingly, despite it being so similar in every way, shape, and form to Annex, that the experience feels different. Another thing that's not decided is the extent to which they're going to leverage content that PC mod makers create, because now they have access to Unreal Engine 3. Technically, in a short period of time, they're going to be able to take and give you new maps, mess around with some of the variables and stuff like that. make scenarios where it's a quick mode where like me and you spawn in a level and there's just like waves and waves of locusts that come at us. Maybe a couple Brumacs start coming out and you fight those. I mean, people will be able to do that pretty stuff quickly. And then total conversion mods, which is, you know, like an absolutely new game that just happens that you just uses the same engine.
Some UT like vehicles and stuff.
I mean, it's kind of hard to tell. You know, Mark was also like, well, we'll see how we feel about that when it happens, because again, they don't know what it's a Microsoft property and a Midway property. But yeah, I mean, it was like, what if you have the Necrus walkers, you know, which are just like these big, weird War of the Worlds alien type walkers, and you're shooting down Brumacs with those or something like that. That would be pretty cool.
That would be really cool.
And then in between, there's scripting too. You could technically make new campaigns. I mean, because you can trigger like, hey, when you go here, Jack's going to come out and open the door. Enemies are going to come in. There's a lot of stuff like that. Ultimately, the question is, can we take this and give this content back to 360 users too? You know, because it'll be, sure enough, it'll be all over on PC, and that's one of the rad value packs about it. You know, I mean, because like when you bought Half-Life 2, you didn't just get Half-Life 2. You got an access to, you know, like this week, Insurgency just came out. You know, all the time you're getting like more value for whatever you paid. What they want to do, I mean, there's no doubt about it. Epic wants to be able to take this stuff and then say, hey, PC, I mean, started on the PC, now on Xbox Live, you get like 10 new maps this month because all these dudes took the time to do it. And then if we decide to sell it to you for $3, we're going to kick some of that money back to the people that made it too in the first place. The thing is anyone can make a really good map, but the problem is getting it out there in enough people's like hard drives so that it's actually played. So I've seen some phenomenal maps, you know, even for Battlefield 2, you never end up playing them because they don't have a stone. But what they would ideally do, and this is what Valve does, is when you go onto one of the dedicated servers, the file's already on there and it just loads it for you. So that way you're not like, hey, I have to go log out of the game or Alt-Tab, go find the URL for the guys who hosted this, play this map, you know, and see. So it's all those are all interesting questions. I'm sure we'll see the debate rage on over the coming year about, you know, whether or not they're handling that right. The game, if you've got the right PC, is going to look better. Clearly, I mean, it was designed, you know, it was originally constructed on high-end PC, so all the assets might have quality of resolution, quality of detail that had to be reduced a bit for performance on 360. So if you got the right hardware now, I mean, you know, now we're into the next generation of cards and stuff. And you know, we're getting into, you know, multi-core CPUs and all that. You'll have like you'll certainly have a sharper looking game. Play it at higher res, you know, like just bump the res up crazy. You know, it's not going to be like a phenomenal night and day. It's not going to be like the difference between, you know, Doom 3 on Xbox and Doom 3 on PC or anything like that. And then again, it's really flexible. So if you've got like a relative like piece of crap PC, you're gonna still be able to play it. It won't look as good as it did on 360, but you'll still be playing on your piece of crap PC. You know?
Thinking like multiplayer, there's like any new weapons or anything, or it's probably pretty much going to be the same that's on.
Yeah, there
Xbox.
are no new weapons in multiplayer. They're still continuing to tweak stuff. You know, it's ever the issue of like, did the shotgun become too powerful? Then did the shotgun become not powerful enough? The Lancer recently got an upgrade. So all the things that they've learned tweaking the 360 version are carrying over, so that the version of Gears that ships for PC will be up to the minute with wherever the 360 one's at. All the stuff they've learned about, you know, grenade tagging, is it happening too far, too close? I mean, should you be penalized for getting killed when you do it more than you are? I mean, so all those sorts of things. But no new weapons or anything like that.
Right.
It's kind of like, hey, we just decided it works the way it does, and we're going to put the time into this other stuff is the only answer I got. But, I mean, surely you could add a weapon here or there later on and put it in an extra content pack or something.
Is there a release date, or can we say a release date?
Yeah, it just, as far as it's fall, I mean, it's certainly going to be this fall, you know. They didn't give me the date, which is funny, because when this show airs in E3, they're probably going to have a date for it.
Right, probably.
But that's how it works.